What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video we have to talk about a lot of teasers for Chapter 7 Season 2 that Ted Timmons over on social media started talking about in the replies of one of his tweets just the other day. Now, for people who don't know who Ted Timmons is and why he's kind of important to the Fortnite world right now, he's the design director for Fortnite. He used to work on like the Warzone side of things over in Call of Duty. However, he ended up joining Fortnite, and now he does the design direction type of stuff for the game, and he's been very social on Twitter recently, and he's been talking about a lot of stuff. You know, he won't obviously leak things coming to the game, but he will kind of tease it in a way that gives us a nice little hype up, moment for all of the new content coming to Fortnite soon. So to recap all of the stuff that he has mentioned, the first thing, and probably the most important thing, was the fact that we're going to be getting an almost fully refreshed loot pool. So as you guys know, we currently have stuff in the loot pool such as the MK7. We have a lot of items that have repeated in the loot pool for multiple seasons. There's certain things that you kind of expect to see in a Fortnite season. There, of course, are newer items that we haven't seen in a while that end up being enabled during the current season, but some of the main things to focus on is that they're going to have the loot pool for the next season feeling very, very fresh in a way where maybe, it's a little bit different than how we've expected it in previous seasons due to how he's kind of publicly talking about it. However, at the exact same time, we haven't really always had this type of public communication, so there is still the slight chance that even though it's being mentioned that it's going to be a refreshed loot pool, it might not be as refreshed as we might be expecting. Only time will really tell, and of course, I like to temper expectations here on the channel. I don't want to get you guys overhyped for any of the stuff being mentioned. Next thing that was mentioned is that there's going to be several new movement mechanics and several new movement items. However, the way they're trying to focus on movement for this upcoming season is squad-based movement. So they want ways for you to go ahead and rotate with your entire team instead of stuff like a shockwave grenade where you can use it to rotate yourself. Of course, you will be able to use the new items that they're adding for movement for yourself, but it does appear like they want to have more squad-based systems so that you're not running away from your teammates and getting a little sidetracked or whatever else, while there's a whole entire combat fight scene going on with the rest of your team. After that, we also have the mention of several new wacky items. And by the way, one thing I should also mention regarding the whole movement things they're working on is apparently, according to Ted Timmons, one of the new movement items that is currently being worked on internally at Epic Games and play tested made him almost tear up. So it makes me wonder, what movement item is that powerful that can make a man cry? Who knows? We'll have to find out next season. But there's also going to be more wacky items that they're going to actually have for the new season. Some people are saying that the term of wacky is kind of like a teaser for the Looney Tunes collaboration, which there have been Lego models of leaked in the files and stuff. However, it could be related to something else entirely, maybe just more goofy gimmicks, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is in some cases, a Looney Tunes teaser. Now, of course, wacky could also just mean fun items in general, so only time will really tell as the new season comes out. There's also going to be new quality of life changes, so if there's anything you felt could just be a little bit more improved, that wouldn't be really game changing or anything, I would say, but more so just something that feels nice to actually have as a feature or as a change system or something in the game, then that is something that they're kind of looking forward to in Chapter 7 Season 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what the potential quality of life changes actually end up being and how effective they are at, making the quality of life in Fortnite that much better. Because I'm going to be honest here, one of the complaints you guys have heard on this channel recently is stuff like crashing, stuff like the easy anti-cheat not leaving my actual computer files or whatever after I close the game, meaning that I have to go in Task Manager and I see that it's taken up 40% of my RAM. Stuff like that has been super annoying, and it has gotten a little bit better, but there still are some crashing issues and there still are some weird bugs that end up happening in Fortnite. For example, if I go to my settings right now and we go down, this is the Xbox version of Fortnite. If we go down here to texture quality, it says cellular data download must be on in order to use higher quality textures over cellular data. I can set this to epic and everything. However, I swear to you guys, it does not change the quality of anything. You don't have the option to install HD textures on the Xbox app version of Fortnite on PC, and that setting right there never seems to make the vehicle cosmetics I have in my locker HD, so it makes me wonder, will that eventually be fixed, or do they not really care about it that much, since of the fact that, it's not really something that bothers them, it's not really something that, needs to be fixed on their end because it's technically an Xbox store thing and not an Epic Games store thing. But that is one of the things that I hope, ends up getting fixed in the future, and I'll always try to be vocal about the little bugs and issues going on here and there that make the game a little bit bit less enjoyable. Other things being mentioned is that there will be new secret looting spots, which makes me a little bit interested. I know that there's been times before where there'll be like chests inside of an actual like hay bale or something, and then there'll be like little cracks inside of caves and everything. You'll go inside the cave and then there'll actually be tons of loot in there. There'll be underground tunnels that have special loot in it. There'll be tons of little ways for them to put loot in other places, so I would be interested to see how they actually end up putting more of those secret looting spots into the Battle Royale map, and if there are anything that we've kind of seen before, you know, like the hidden caves and stuff, or like, you know, using a porta potty to find an area, or stuff like before where you had to kind of like use the Oni mask to kind of teleport inside of a zone to get some guaranteed rare chests and stuff. Only time will tell, but hey, you know, it's still interesting to see that they're focusing on it. After that, they go on to mention that there will be new mid-match activities, and those mid-match activities will have more complexity to them, so it won't just be something like, you know, the job boards right now where it's like, oh, it spawns a supply drop, go find it, or here buried treasure chest on the map. You know, those things have been used before, and those are the typical things we see from job boards, but it appears that they want to go ahead and have more refresh systems in place and more stuff that enhances things like the active anomalies, such as the friendship bubbles that we see on the island. As I mentioned in a previous video, there are more anomalies that they haven't actually released in the game, like Taco Time, which, if you guys remember Taco Time, yeah, that was supposed to be a rift anomaly that they could end up using for the next season, and it's going to be interesting to see which one of those end up getting scrapped and which new ones they end up bringing to Chapter 7 Season 2. Now, an interesting thing is that there's potentially going to be some changes to the bus driver. One of the things that they actually mentioned on social media was that when we have the surfing intro, and actually in this match I'm playing right now, I actually spawned in surfing, they actually had less people leaving in matches. However, when we had the battle bus intro, it seems like more people were leaving, which is an interesting little dynamic to see. I never would have thought that, you know, changing it up from battle bus to surfing would cause more people to actually stick through in a match or something. I don't know if it's just because, you know, with the battle bus you get like a guaranteed, like, here's the pathway it's going on, and then with surfing everyone gets thrown randomly across the map for a more diverse situation of people going in one place or another. You know, maybe we have a situation like they've tested before where we have multiple battle buses spawning in the match. Not everyone is in the same battle bus, and it's all in like a triangular formation or something, or maybe the battle bus path overall is going to be like a swivel or something, you know, maybe custom battle bus pathway shape or something. There's tons of different things they could try, and, you know, who knows what could actually happen there. Maybe we end up in different battle buses that all crash onto the island each match, and that causes this weird little gimmick where it's like, hey, you've crash landed on the map, where do you spawn? Find out what happens, or whatever. You know, there's tons of different ways for them to actually do it, so will be interesting to see how they actually go ahead and improve on the surfing system that we had this season and make it more unique for whatever the next season's theme actually is. And then they go on to mention that, you know, they're going to be trying new ways to obtain XP, so that's going to be interesting to see how there's going to be, you know, these new systems in place, how we're actually going to be able to earn XP. Does doing stuff like activating rift anomalies or doing that type of thing give us bonus XP? Does stuff like getting rapid fire headshots back to back give XP? I know there's already accolades for like headshots and, you know, rapid kills and everything, but will there be special bonuses? Like maybe you go in a match and it's like, hey, your daily bonus objective, you can do this one time today. If you do the bonus objective in this match, then you'll be able to earn maybe like 20,000 XP or something like that. You know, something where it's like, hey, you only get one of these per day. Oh, hi there, repo bot. And you do it, you get some bonus XP, and then you call it a day there. I just hope that when they mean more ways to earn XP, they don't mean this system. Oh, it's gone now. The one where you actually have to like go in duos or squad matches and collect hearts from dropped enemies. I hope they don't do that system, because, man, you know, it's like, I get it. You want to have people playing the game with their friends and everything, but even when you're playing it with your friends, those things require like 250 heart drops and everything. And of course, if you're someone who actively plays with a group of people in Fortnite, then it's not going to be that hard. But usually the people that, you know, that I've talked to about Fortnite recently, they've all kind of just hopped off. Like, I even talked to one dude who the other day mentioned that he usually just launches Fortnite to buy new cosmetics and then he hops off after that. And I'm like, what? If you're not playing the game, why even buy the cosmetics? But, you know, it's like, there's just it's an interesting dynamic of seeing how people have kind of shifted away from Fortnite recently, just either the gameplay feeling stale or whatever else. So hopefully Chapter 7 Season 2 can make things feel a little bit more fresh, you know, a little bit more exciting for the people who want to go ahead and play the game and do more than just log in for the item shop and log off. Now, there has been some other things mentioned that, you know, we're going to have more complexity in the game in general, not just with mid-match objectives, but, you know, trying to have more of, I guess, like a chapter 6 feel, according to how Lulu World had actually posted about it on social media. So it's going to be interesting to see how they actually go ahead and add that complexity to the game. But they have a huge laundry list of stuff that they're apparently trying to do in one season, so let's hope it goes well. Maybe that's why this season got delayed by an extra like week or 2 weeks, so that they can go ahead and actually, you know, improve the next one to make it even better. You know, sometimes you got the slow points in the game to get the highs later down the line, so hopefully that's what's going on here. And until next time, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another upload after this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the snipe, actually. You know what, let me just, yeah, okay, I was like, after this quick snipe, but I don't think that's happening. Yeah, you know what, I want to end this video with an elimination. You guys know how I like to do it sometimes, so let me go ahead and just knock you, and peace out.